Welcome to the Women's Strength Sessions. I'm Laurie Mazikas, and I'm so glad you're here. Let me tell you something that might make you angry, but it should. Because for most of modern medical history, women weren't even considered worth studying. Our bodies, our hormones, our pain was all labeled as too complicated, too emotional, or too inconsistent to even matter. And yet, this foundation, this male blueprint, is still shaping how women are diagnosed, treated, and believed today. So, let's unpack how we got here and what it's still costing us. When modern medicine began to take form in the 17th and 18th centuries, women were mostly excluded from scientific spaces altogether. Their logic was that our brains were thought to be smaller, and therefore we must be less intelligent, less rational, and less capable of contributing to science. Early physicians actually wrote papers arguing that women's biology made us unfit for complex thought. That belief didn't just keep women out of the lab, it actually shaped how medicine as a whole was built. Then came the next myth that women had a low pain tolerance, that we were too delicate to endure the rigors of medical experiments or surgery. So instead of studying women's bodies, they studied ours through the lens of male anatomy and male experience and called it universal. The male body became the norm, and women's bodies became atypical or abnormal. And when women's symptoms didn't fit neatly into the male model, the diagnosis wasn't, we don't understand this yet. It was, it's all in her head. Even centuries later, when medical research began to expand, women were still excluded. Even female rats were excluded. Why? Because the menstrual cycle was now deemed too complicated. Too many hormonal fluctuations, too many variables. So instead of learning how female hormones affect health, we just ignored them. The result is now a healthcare system designed solely around male physiology, male data, and male outcomes. And that bias didn't stay in the textbooks. It follows us to this day into every exam room. Fast forward to today, and the consequences are everywhere. Globally, women live about 25% more of their lives in poor health than men do, and most of that happens during our working years. That means that we're living longer, but not better. Only 1% of all medical research outside of cancer focuses on women specific conditions. 1%. That's all the space that we get. And it shows up in the outcomes too. Did you know that 2/3 of Alzheimer's and dementia patients are women? Heart disease is the #1 killer of women because our symptoms look so different from men's that they're often missed or completely dismissed. Osteoporosis affects about half of all women over 50, but prevention and early education on strength training and nutrition that could help prevent this is rarely prioritized. And then there's access to healthcare. Over 1.5 billion women worldwide did not receive essential health screenings last year. No checks for blood pressure, diabetes, or cancer. In the US, women pay about 18% more out of pocket for healthcare every year without counting maternity costs. That's around 266 more per year just for being female. And if you're a low income woman, your odds of being uninsured are three times higher than if you have a higher income. The system expects women to do more, to care for families, to manage health, and to hold everything together, but gives us less support, less research, and less credibility. What makes this work worse is how invisible it all is, because it's not just biology, it's bias. When women go to the doctor with symptoms, studies show we're more likely to be told it's stress, anxiety, or just lose weight. We wait longer for pain medication in the ER. We're undiagnosed for heart attacks because the classic symptoms were defined using only male bodies. And think about this too, even the medical tools that are used, from crash test dummies, surgical instruments, drug dosages, were often designed for the average man, not a woman. So now, when a woman's body responds differently, it's labeled as abnormal, but not informative. The word abnormal has been weaponized against women for centuries. When our biology doesn't fit their model, it's treated like a flaw instead of a clue. And yet, the truth is the opposite. Women's biology is not complicated, it's rich, it's dynamic, it's informative. But ignoring it has cost a generation of progress. Every statistic represents a real woman who was misdiagnosed, dismissed, or failed by a system that did not see her. It's the woman who waited years for an endometriosis diagnosis, the mother who died of a preventable heart attack because her symptoms were called anxiety, the woman who lost bone density because no one told her that muscle is medicine. We carry these stories in our families, in our bodies, and in our silence. And the longer we pretend this gap isn't structural, the longer it will take to fix it. Here's the truth. This isn't just a women's issue. It's a societal issue, a human issue, a justice issue. Because when women are healthy, families, economies, and entire communities get stronger. When women's pain is believed, everyone benefits from better science and better care. We don't need to fit into medicine. Medicine needs to evolve to fit us. So we need to talk about it. We need to be asking questions, and we need to support women's health research. Teach your daughters that their cycles are not complicated, they're data. It's information about their bodies. Women's bodies are not too complex. They're just too powerful to keep ignoring. So if this opened your eyes, please share it, because awareness is how we start rebuilding a system that finally sees and serves women. Don't forget to like and follow to stay on top of my next episode that'll be coming out next week. And I love having you here. Thank you.